Hello everyone, welcome to my English classroom. In my previous video, I have discussed about the introduction to the poem and the explanation of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo, written by George Leslie Norris. Now today, in this video, we will discuss about the theme, message, rhyme scheme and poetic devices used in the poem. First come to the theme. In this poem, there are three themes mainly. The first theme is liberty and freedom. Love for freedom is the natural instinct of every living being, either it's human being or it's an animal. No one likes to be imprisoned. In the poem, the tiger is not free. It has been encaged and its liberty has been snatched away. It cannot show its power and courage as it used to show in the jungle. It cannot roam around, thus, it has rage in its eyes. But it is encaged, hence, it cannot do anything and thus remains quiet. So, you can see the theme of liberty and freedom. Everyone on earth wants freedom. Second, animal rights. The poet is also throwing light on the rights of animals. Man has encaged wild animals for his entertainment. It is unjust because every living organism must have right to liberty and freedom. In the case of tiger, he has been forcibly put in the cage. So his rights have been taken away. Now, third theme is the wildlife conservation. It is very important. The tiger belongs to the forest. There it can hunt as and when required. It hunts not out of envy or out of hatred, as human beings do, but only as a survival strategy or instinct. He hunts not for pleasure but for food. His presence in the natural habitat, that is the jungle or forest, is necessary to maintain the balance of the food chain. Hence, all caged animals should be returned to their natural habitat to maintain ecological balance. So, this is the third theme of the poem. Now, come to the message of the poem. First message is that do not cage animals, give them the freedom that is theirs, as they are meant to be in their natural habitat, not in zoo. Second, cruelty to animals must come to an end. Third, empathy to all living creatures is essential. Now you will ask, what is empathy? So, empathy means to have the same feeling as the other has. Suppose your friend is in pain. So, if you can feel the pain of your friend in the same way as he or she feels, it is empathy. Similarly, we should have the empathy for the living creatures, all living creatures. Man should find other means of entertainment rather than keep animals in captivity. So, these are the messages that are conveyed throughout the poem by the poet. Let us come to the rhyme scheme of the poem. So, the rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, C, B. For example, I can take an example of the first stanza. The end of the lines are stripes, cage, quiet, and rage. So, stripes, if you mark stripes as A, cage as B, then quiet as C, because they do not match. And rage again, it matches with cage, that's why B. So, the rhyme scheme is A, B, C, B. So, we can find rhyme scheme like this throughout the poem. Then the poetic devices used in the poem. So, the most important poetic device used in the poem is personification. So, throughout the poem, the tiger is personified. Tiger is an animal, still it is referred to as he, not it throughout the poem. Means the tiger is given the human attributes or characteristics. Then repetition. Repetition is what? The repetition is the repeated use of some words to emphasize some idea. Here in the first stanza of the poem, the word quiet is repeated. It is repeated to emphasize the helplessness of the tiger. that he cannot do anything in his cage because he is not free. Then the word brilliant in the last stanza, it emphasizes the quest for freedom of the tiger, the wish for freedom, because with his brilliant eyes he is looking at the brilliant stars. The eyes are not free here because it is in the cage, but the stars are free. So with his eyes he can imagine the freedom, okay, that the stars have. That's why it is a kind of wish or quest for freedom for the tiger. Second is alliteration. It's very easy, alliteration. So repeated use of same letter, like here in the first line, stanza 1, line 1, he stalks in his vivid stripes. So H, H, S, S, like this. Then where plump deer pass, so P sound repeated, stanza 2, line 4. Then again in stanza 4, line 1, concrete cell, C, C. Then stanza 4, line 2, the behind birds, B and B, repeated. This is called alliteration. Next important poetry device is metaphor. So in the first stanza of line 3, pads of velvet, the phrase pads of velvet, here the pads or the paws of tiger is compared to the velvet. Why? Because the tiger's feet or the paws, okay, are as soft as the velvet is. So it is compared regarding the smoothness of the velvet and the pad. Now what is metaphor? I am repeating, metaphor is the kind of implicit comparison between two, you can say, heterogeneous things, not homogeneous, heterogeneous things. Now next is enjambment. So what is enjambment? Enjambment is the continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of a line. Here also we can find in the second stanza, you can find the lines sliding through the long grass near the water hole where the plump deer pass. So there is no punctuation mark between the three lines and the idea is continuing. That's why it is called enjambment. Again third stanza, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. So same idea, continuing idea, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars in the fifth stanza. So these are the examples of enjambment. So friends, these are the important poetry devices used in the poem. You can find more poetry devices, but that are not much significant. I have only picked up the important ones. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.